You won't believe this, but if humans suddenly woke up with the ability to sense electric fields, we'd discover an entire hidden conversation happening around us. Messages shooting through water, warnings flickering through the sand, and even underwater flirtation powered by literal electricity. And here's the wildest part. These creatures have been doing it for millions of years, right under our noses, communicating with a language we physically can't perceive. But once you understand how it works, the whole animal kingdom starts to look like a giant secret chat room wired through the ocean and rivers. It starts with a creature most people have only seen as a cartoon villain, the electric eel. Everyone knows it can shock predators and knock out prey, but few realize that those same currents work like text messages. When two eels pass each other in murky waters, they fire tiny, rapid electrical pulses, not to attack, but to introduce themselves. Each eel has a signature pattern, like a username, so they can identify friends, rivals, or potential mates without seeing a single thing. And if an eel doesn't like who's nearby, it simply sends a stronger pulse that basically translates to "back off." One researcher once described it as watching a heated argument, except in Morse code made of lightning. But electric eels are amateurs compared to the black ghost knifefish. Imagine a fish that swims through pitch-black rivers with the grace of a ribbon floating on air. It can do that because it communicates and navigates by creating a constant electric bubble around itself. Whenever another knifefish enters that bubble, their fields bump into each other like soap bubbles colliding. The result? They instantly feel each other's presence. What's crazier is that if two fish emit similar frequencies, they'll both shift their signals so they don't interfere. It's like being in a room full of people humming, and everyone automatically changes pitch so no one overlaps. A built-in, perfectly polite group chat. Then there's the elephantnose fish, a creature with a face that looks like it permanently walked into a door. This odd-looking fish uses electric signals so detailed that it can send messages about food, mood, and even emotional state. When two elephantnose fish argue, their signals spike and jitter like someone furiously typing. But when one wants peace, its signal softens into slow, smooth waves, like an apology. The best part? These signals aren't just communication, they're memory triggers. As the storytelling files noted, our brains latch onto emotional detail to remember the lesson, and these fish evolved to do the same. Emotional pulses mean don't forget this moment. That sense of emotional electricity becomes even more dramatic with weakly electric mormyrids. Some species have, hundreds of different electric words, making them one of the most complex non-human communicators on the planet. When courting, they don't dance, they spark out entire conversations. A male sends a pattern like a knock on a door, and the female answers with a coded rhythm that says either try again or absolutely not. Scientists still can't decipher their entire vocabulary, which means somewhere in African rivers, thousands of tiny electric love stories unfold every night, with scripts far more nuanced than ours. But the ocean has its own cast of electric communicators, and sharks lead the drama. Sharks don't talk with electricity, they listen. Every flick from a fish's heartbeat creates a faint electric whisper, and sharks follow those whispers like bloodhounds. But the surprising part is how sharks communicate with one another. When a shark swims aggressively, the electric field around its body tightens and strengthens. Other sharks sense it and immediately know this one's in a mood. In calmer states, their fields soften. It's emotional transparency, but without a single sound. Rays, the shark's flattened cousins, take this even further. Some species use their electric sense to coordinate group swimming. When rays glide in formation, their fields align in subtle patterns that let each one anticipate the next move. It's the underwater equivalent of geese honking directions, just completely silent and invisible. And then there's the electric catfish, a creature that has mastered both offense and conversation. When threatened, it releases strong bursts, but when socializing, it sends faint electrical chirps. Those chirps help individuals recognize who belongs to their group. One experiment showed that when researchers played back an unfamiliar electric signal, the fish became nervous and agitated. But when they played a familiar one, the fish swam calmly toward the speaker. It's the same emotional wiring humans have when hearing a familiar voice. Stories stick because emotion sticks, and these fish use electricity to do it. Another master of electric messaging is the stargazer fish, an ambush predator that hides under sand with only its eyes poking out. It uses electric pulses as a lure, creating faint disturbances that curious prey come to investigate. It's hunting communication, a deceitful whisper that says, "Come closer." It's one of the rare examples where communication is meant to be misunderstood. But the award for the strangest electric communicator might go to the platypus. Its bill is packed with electroreceptors so sensitive it can detect tiny electric signatures from worms and crustaceans hiding in mud. But what makes the platypus truly impressive is how it uses this sense during territorial encounters. When two males meet in murky water, they circle each other, reading the faint electric aura each one produces. It tells them size, strength, and confidence, sometimes enough to prevent a fight entirely. The electricity becomes a negotiation tool. Finally, the electric torpedo ray brings the story full circle. Known since ancient Greece, it communicates danger, dominance, and warning through strong bursts. But inside a group, torpedo rays also produce subtle pulses that help maintain structure and spacing. These tiny signals help them avoid bumping into each other, even during night hunts. It's traffic control using miniature lightning bolts. All 10 of these creatures, some elegant, some strange, some downright chaotic, live in a world where communication doesn't depend on sound or sight. Instead, they speak through invisible landscapes of voltage, broadcasting their intentions, fears, and desires through water like living telegraphs. If humans could see those electric fields, every river and coastline would glow with silent conversations. And maybe the most surprising lesson from their world is that communication doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. Sometimes the most efficient language is the one no one can see.